In a quite strictly curatorial sense, I'm not just collecting work for a hotel. In fact, in my mind, that's the last thing I'm doing. I'm trying to weave ideas together. I'm selecting work, I'm trying to tell stories.
Great art and design is really what makes a unique guest experience. When a guest walks into a property, they feel immediately transported to a different place, but they look around. For example, here, this building was built in 1923 for Bank of Italy's. We said it was a play on Venice. Our fabrics here are very bright and colorful and florals that we thought would be very reminiscent of the California landscape.
It's important to have great design, great art in the hotel, but that's not the only thing. It's a portion of the whole experience, I would say. We are telling a story. Through design, we wanted something fresh, bold, and timeless. So it's a bit like Uptown meets downtown New York. We want to bring emotion into the experience of staying in an hotel.
There is different assets in an hotel, and one asset is the brand, another one is the architecture, another one is the art program and the collaterals. And the most important thing is to carry a strong story. If everything is correctly balanced together, the art on the walls is an extension of the architecture and an extension of the story.
The Ned's a really special place. It's a Grade 1 listed building. It's a former bank, so it's this temple to finance, and it's in the heart of the City of London. So you feel like you're stepping back in time, but we also needed to make sure it was very contemporary and that it lived and breathed in the 21st century. So a huge part of that was the art collection, how we could tell the story of now and layer it with history.
The fun thing about working on Freehands is the absolute unbridled creativity. There's just no rules.
It's almost like, Topanga Canyon comes downtown. We were looking at a different kind of spirit of LA, which we think represents Freehand. And that's a little bit more about nature and a little bit more about like breathing the air and a kind of a very freehand sort of sense of community, sort of reinvent the idea of the hostel and make it something that was more accessible and more about kind of a collective and community of people, something that was more about culture.
The things I appreciate a lot about the line LA and what Sean was able to do was stitch in materials that were sort of a part of what you think of interior design is, and then he very clearly sort of departed from that. Sometimes being provocative and making things that maybe you wouldn't think need to go next to each other, but doing it and seeing what comes out of it, sort of going forward instead of just looking back.
The partnership with the Line Hotel is exciting for us because we can use that opportunity to showcase the local art scene here. At that moment when you come to the city and go to that place you're staying, that's a critical opportunity for you to say, here's some work, here are local artists. To bring those people to a place and to see the art scene in that moment.
Well, we knew that the Line LA, even if we were to transplant it here directly to Austin, it would have a completely different reading just because Koreatown has its own vibe and energy and crowd, but we don't have like this really long history that you might see in other cities like San Francisco or New York, and that really gives the people here, I think, a lot more latitude to figure out what it is that they want to do and say, here's your building back to you. We're really going to reintroduce it in a way that I feel like is very much Austin is going to take its rightful place downtown.